What is not to like about Donald Trump? Making America greater than ever.
There has never been anybody that drew crowds like we draw. And I don't have a guitar. I have no guitar.
Anybody want to tell me why you love him?
Why not? He's doing what he said he'd do.
I'm the only politician in history that I've actually kept more promises than I made. Think of that. In other words, I made here.
I mean, he's doing all the right things, you know. They just gotta get out of his way. They gotta stop crying like little kids.
Wah, wah, wah. Darling, I want to watch television tonight and there's no damn wind. What do I do?
I'm just curious why everybody loves him so much.
I mean, you want a list? Tax reform. I like that. I like that he's building the wall. I like what he did in Israel with the embassy. I like that he defeated ISIS. He allows our troops to shoot back when they get shot at, which is a good thing, right?
And with Obama, you did nothing. You did nothing but get your ass kicked. True.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Trump campaign rally featuring President Donald Trump.
Gave us the Liberty Bell, Pennsylvania Steel, Hershey chocolate. I like Hershey chocolate. The sanctuary city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
Of course I love him. And I don't care all the stuff that they say about him. What do I care about that?
He's the best president we've ever had in this country. He doesn't care about politics. He cares about helping the public. He cares about helping the American people.
I became president, think of it, almost 3 years ago. By the way, was that the most exciting night ever?
He's definitely for our country. He's not about himself.
You're so lucky I became your president.
And I know how important it is for us to have a good reputation with a lot of countries, and they see how we act.
I have to say I'm kidding, because the fake news back there will take that. They'll take that statement and they'll blow it up. And they'll say he said they were lucky to have him as president. What a horrible thing to say, because they're fake.
When he is not honorable and when he cannot be trusted, and I don't mean mainstream media trust, there's nothing.
They are very dishonest. Very, very dishonest. No, they're very dishonest people. Does anybody think the media is honest? Does anybody think they're totally corrupt and dishonest?
He's made our country such a great place to live the way it's supposed to be, and I'm very thankful.
What was wrong with it before? I thought it was pretty good.
Not in the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to living a good, normal life. Because America is winning again. America is winning again like never before. And as I always say, and I've already said it twice tonight, this country is so respected. And we were not respected 4 years ago. We were laughed at. A regular president would have been under a table, thumb in the mouth, saying, "Take me home, mommy, this is too tough for me."
To be honest with you, I really don't think Trump is a Republican. I think he's a conservative. Republicans, I don't think anyone here really likes Republicans.
And I have to say this about the Republicans. The Republicans have never been so united as they are right now, ever. The House, the Senate, we've never been this united.
They really didn't support him for the first 2 years. They threw him under the bus for 2 years.
A lot of people say it's Trump's party. It's not the Republicans anymore. It's Trump's party.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Vote for these people. Even if you don't like them, vote for them.
You know, and he's building the wall, and he's trying to.
He's not building a wall.
He is building walls. Why is he having a hard time building a wall?
Fixing the wall.
Because the Democrats don't want him to have any success.
You don't
They're
think the wall
fighting-
is like a little bit racist? No.
No, I do not.
No.
You don't know how many of these people want to do us harm, whether they want to do something in terms of terrorism or whether they want to do something in terms of crime.
Innocent Americans in all 50 states are being brutalized and murdered by illegal alien criminals. Last summer, at least 19 illegal aliens were charged in connection with grisly homicides, including hacking victims to death and ripping out, in 2 cases, their hearts. Dangerous, violent criminal aliens, free to kill, free to rape, savage gang, chopping the body apart with a machete. Violent sex crimes, raping and viciously strangling, illegal alien crime, real violence, rape, sexual assault of a child, and inflicting serious bodily injury, brutal and sadistic murders, aggravated indecent assault, unlawful contact with a minor, indecent exposure, and terroristic threats. Everything from assault to kidnapping to drug crimes to sex crimes to homicide murder.
A lot of people think he has dementia.
No, that's Hillary Clinton had that.
No, that's Pelosi.
That's Joe Biden. Why does Joe Biden get a pass?
I don't know.
If there's dementia anywhere,
I agree.
it's got to be there.
Hey, do you ever notice where Biden keeps saying he's in the wrong state? Like if he's in Ohio, it's great to be in Iowa tonight. If he's in Pennsylvania, it's wonderful to be in the state of Delaware. What is wrong with this guy? What's wrong with him? There's something wrong.
They know that they can't win the election. They have no good candidates on the Democratic side. One's worse than the next.
I don't want my grandchildren to be social communists. And all we've had out of Ocasio or Sanders or, I don't want them to have that kind of life.
Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb right up until the moment of birth. Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, and blatant corruption. They're embarrassed by the impeachment, and our poll numbers have gone through the roof because of her stupid impeachment.
And they think that if they do this, they're going to try to get him out of the way, so to speak. But you know what? He's not going anywhere.
I think it's a good thing because it's going to get Trump a lot more votes.
It's a crock of
They're impeaching me. You know why? Because they want to win an election, and that's the only way they can do it. We're dealing with people that don't respect you. And by the way, they talk about the elite. You're the elite. They're not the elite. You're the elite. It always bothers me. They say the elite. This is the elite. Look at these people. How beautiful. This is the elite.
Voting for Ivanka, Donald Trump Jr., they're all in there.
You're the elite. You're the elite. You're the elite. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. The fake news will never report it. But it could be true.
Are you familiar with General Soleimani?
Yes. Go ahead. Give me a little. Go ahead. Tell me.
He runs the Quds forces.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Do you expect
and I think the Kurds, by the way, have been horribly mistreated by us.
No, not the Kurds. The Quds forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Quds forces, the bad guys.
Right.
Do you expect his behavior to change as a result?
Kurds.
No. Quds.
I'm sorry. I thought you said Kurds.
Well, Soleimani is to terrorism sort of what Trump is to real estate. He's many people would say he's the most dangerous man in the world, and he runs the Quds forces, which is their Navy SEAL. Do you think they're going to stop?
The gentleman that was going back and forth with Russia and meeting with Putin, I read something, and that seems to be also where he's at.
Do you know the players without a scorecard yet, Donald Trump?
No, I'll tell you honestly, I think by the time we get to office, they'll all be changed. They'll be all gone. I knew you were going to ask me things like this, and there's no reason because those are like history questions. Do you know this one? Do you know that one?
I don't believe in gotcha questions. I'm not trying to, quiz you on who the worst guy in the world is.
Well, that is a gotcha question, though. I mean, when you're asking me about who's running this, that is not. I will be so good at the military, your head will spin.
Since we have some dire foreign policy issues percolating around the world right now, who are you consulting with consistently so that you're ready on day one?
I'm speaking with myself, number one, because I have a very good brain and I've said a lot of things.
We cannot understate how dangerous of an escalation this could be, how significant this decision is. So my thoughts on the matter are contingent on really 2 points, 2 questions. One, what was the intelligence undergirding this decision? How significant was it? How imminent was this intelligence? And secondly, what is the plan for tomorrow? Because an Iranian response is inevitable.
Unfortunately, the actions this administration has taken for weeks and months now have taken a very difficult situation and made it much worse.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. We have a real problem in the White House. So, I believe that he will attack Iran sometime prior to the election because he thinks that's the only way he can get elected. Isn't it pathetic?
I want to have peace. I like peace. And Iran should want peace more than anybody.
Is the United States more secure today because of that?
You have said that Iran will retaliate for the targeted killing of General Qasem Soleimani. President Trump has said there would be a disproportionate response if you do that. What do you make of President Trump's threats?
His threats will not frighten us. But what he's showing something. He's showing to the international community that he has no respect for international law, that he is prepared to commit war crimes because attacking cultural sites is a war crime. In this disproportionate response is a war crime. But he doesn't care, it seems, about international law. But has he made U.S. more secure? Do Americans feel more secure? Are Americans welcome today in this region? Do they feel welcome?
Your government and your leadership and the military here has vowed to take action against the United States.
Well,
what kind of retaliation is that going to be?
The United States violated 3 principles: Iraqi sovereignty and the agreement that they had with Iraq. They got a response from the Iraqi parliament. They violated the emotions of the people. They will get a response from the people. They killed one of our most revered commanders and most senior commanders, and they took responsibility for it. This is state terrorism. This is an act of aggression against Iran, and it amounts to an armed attack against Iran, and we will respond. But we will respond proportionately, not disproportionately, because we are committed to law. We are law-abiding people. We're not lawless like President Trump.
So you think that you can strike at any point?
Well, we think,
because you obviously, it's no secret that you control militias in this region, that you have forces that are on your side in this region, in many countries.
No, we have people on our side in this region. That's much more important. The United States believes that this beautiful military equipment, according to President Trump, that you spend $2 trillion on these beautiful military equipment. Beautiful military equipment don't rule the world. People rule the world. People. the United States has to wake up to the reality that the people of this region are enraged, that the people of this region want the United States out, and the United States cannot stay in this region with the people of the region not wanting it anymore.
Would it be worth speaking to him?
Well, he doesn't need speaking. He has to realize that he has been fed misinformation. And he needs to wake up and apologize. He has to apologize. He has to change course. He cannot add mistake upon another mistake. He is just making it worse for America. He is destroying the US Constitution. He is destroying the US political process. He is destroying the rule of law in the United States. But that's not for me to say. That's a domestic affair of the United States. He has enraged the people of our region. He has killed people of this region. He has spent $1 trillion. He said that the US had wasted $7 trillion in our region. He has added another $1 trillion. Is the United States more secure today because of that?
Aren't Arabs terrified? Aren't Iraqis terrified? Don't Arab and Iraqi women weep when their children die? Doesn't bombing strengthen their determination? War is an easy thing to talk about. There are not many people of the generation that remember it. The right honourable gentleman served with distinction in the last war. I never killed anyone, but I wore uniform. But I was in London in the Blitz in 1940, living in the Millbank Tower where I was born. Some different ideas have come in since. And every night I went down to the shelter in Thames House. Every morning I saw Dockland burning. 500 people were killed in Westminster one night by a landmine. It was terrifying. Aren't Arabs terrified? Aren't Iraqis terrified? Don't Arab and Iraqi women weep when their children die? Doesn't bombing strengthen their determination? What fools we are to live in a generation for which war is a computer game for our children and just an interesting little Channel 4 news item. Every member of Parliament tonight who votes for the government motion will be consciously and deliberately accepting the responsibility for the deaths of innocent people if the war begins, as I fear it will. Now, that's for their decision to take. But this is a quite unique debate in my parliamentary experience where we're asked to share responsibility for a decision we won't really be taking with consequences for people who have no part to play in the brutality of the regime which we are dealing with. And I finish with this. On October the 24th, 1945, and the former Prime Minister from Bexley, Old Sidcup, will remember it, the United Nations Charter was passed. And the words of that charter are etched into my mind and move me even as I think of them. We, the people of the United Nations, determined to save future generations, succeeding generations, from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has caused untold suffering to mankind. That was the pledge of that generation to this generation, and it would be the greatest betrayal of all if we voted to abandon the Charter and take unilateral action and pretend we were doing it in the name of the international community. And I shall vote against the motion for the reasons that I've given the House.
It's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin. Americans aren't just electing a president in November. We're choosing our next commander-in-chief, the person we count on to decide questions of war and peace, life and death. And like many across our country and around the world, I believe the person the Republicans have nominated for president cannot do the job. Donald Trump's ideas aren't just different, they are dangerously incoherent. They're not even really ideas, just a series of bizarre rants personal feuds, and outright lies. He is not just unprepared. He is temperamentally unfit to hold an office that requires knowledge, stability, and immense responsibility. This is not someone who should ever have the nuclear codes, because it's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin. Diplomacy is often the only way to avoid a conflict that could end up exacting a much greater cost. It takes patience, persistence, and an eye on the long game, but it's worth it. Take the nuclear agreement with Iran. When President Obama took office, Iran was racing toward a nuclear bomb. Some called for military action, but that could have ignited a broader war that could have mired our troops in another Middle Eastern conflict. President Obama chose a different path, and I got to work leading the effort to impose crippling sanctions. We brought Iran to the table, we began talks, and eventually we reached an agreement that should block every path for Iran to get a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump says we shouldn't have done the deal. We should have walked away. But that would have meant no more global sanctions and Iran resuming their nuclear program and the world blaming us. So then what? War? Telling the world, good luck, you deal with Iran? Of course, Trump doesn't have answers to those questions. Donald Trump doesn't know the first thing about Iran or its nuclear program. Ask him. It'll become very clear very quickly. Now imagine Donald Trump sitting in the Situation Room, making life or death decisions on behalf of the United States. Imagine him deciding whether to send your spouses or children into battle. Imagine if he had not just his Twitter account at his disposal when he's angry, but America's entire arsenal. Do we want him making those calls? Someone thin-skinned and quick to anger who lashes out at the smallest criticism. Do we want his finger anywhere near the button? Well, I have a lot of faith that the American people will make the right decision. This is a country with a deep reservoir of common sense and national pride, and we're all counting on that. Because making Donald Trump our commander-in-chief would be a historic mistake, and it would undo so much of the work that Republicans and Democrats alike have done over many decades to make America stronger and more secure. It would set back our standing in the world more than anything in recent memory, and it would fuel an ugly narrative about who we are, that we're fearful, not confident, that we want to let others determine our future for us instead of shaping our own destiny. That's not the America I know and love.